How's it going, everybody? We are back with more Would You Rather. So we've already checked out the first three: be religious or atheist, non-binary or binary, and black or white. And now we're going to be Would you rather be rich or poor? Um, which is an interesting one because I'd rather be rich. Of course, I'd rather be rich, but I'd rather be born with not poor or in poverty, but with less, so that I know what it's like to get there.
I've never paid a bill in my life.
It just shows to me how unfair everything is.
There is a lot of jealousy, there is a lot of hate, there is a lot of stepping on necks.
I ended up in a psychiatric unit at the age of 15.
Sometimes you just have to drag yourself out.
How? I'm an activist, a youth homeless campaigner and survivor. I do a lot of anti-poverty work and I'm also a part-time student. I would say I have the bare minimum money, pretty much living in poverty.
I would describe myself as affluent. I model part-time, but I'm a full-time student. When it comes to money, I don't really worry.
What would you think wealth has given you for your life, like the good things?
I had a really good education, a private school education. But I also have the ability to have comfort almost.
Do you have a car?
So my car's a BMW. I have no idea how much it is worth because I did not buy it. My dad bought it for me.
Do you pay your bills or
My family pays my bills.
would you know what to do with a bill or...
I have never paid a bill
Okay.
in my life, but
I hate her so much. Like already, I completely hate her. I despise everything that she is. Like, I hate that. I mean, you gotta blame the parents. Yes, you're rich. It don't mean you have to make life that easy because she's clueless. If they just like died tomorrow, they were gone, didn't exist. She would be so hopeless on her own. She don't even know what fucking like how to pay a bill. She never paid one. She didn't buy a car. Fuck that. You earn your car. Fucking.
I do have to go to the supermarket and like buy my own food.
I think people should have nice things and that's how life should be. At the same time, it's kind of hard because private school to me is quite a big because I just think it just shows to me how unfair everything is. I'm currently living in a housing association after
I mean, no, going to a private school's fair enough. You know, if your parents are like well off, wealthy, then I don't see being sent to a private school as an issue because obviously children deserve the best education. Personally, I think no matter what money I had, as it stands, my daughter would go to the school she's at because it's absolutely fantastic. Like, such a good school. So I think it just depends on the situation. Like, but when we used to live in Sheffield, I want to say if we had money, she'd have been going private because the schools there are horrendous. I'm glad she didn't have to go to them. So no, I wouldn't say that's like a bad thing. I think if you're in a position to give your kids a better education that could be more promising for them, then yeah, do it.
trying to find housing and living in psychiatric units. I've tried really hard to pull myself out of poverty, but I think with mental health, sometimes poverty goes hand in hand and exacerbates it. You know, some of the schools that I've been into, the kids are coming in starving. You know, the kids are not even potty trained, some of them, and their age is 4 to 5. So there's definitely a complete polarisation there.
I think it's definitely wrong that people are so wealthy and people are so poor. But do you think there is possibly more that you could do for yourself?
What would help actually really is like proper secure work and actually, you know, having a bit of a career. In the past it's been hard for me to get the qualifications to get to college because of things like not having the money to get there, not having the money for books. I didn't have internet and a lot of the coursework now is online.
You could go to like an internet cafe.
Well, I did start going to like the library, but so I wrote an essay out and then it shut itself off after an hour. And
Internet cafe, you have to buy a drink, and drinking out compared to drinking at home is a lot more expensive. I mean, I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent here, but like tea bags I buy 95p for 80, and they're really nice tea bags. Like, and that's 80 cups of tea for 95p. Obviously, you know, sugar, milk, whatever. But if I go out for a cup of tea, I'm looking at between, maybe £1.50 upwards of £2.50, depending where you get them. So an internet cafe where they need to make the money back for all the internet getting used anyway. I'm saying a cup of tea at least is going to be like £2. If this is London, a lot more. And then coffee again is really expensive drinking out. So that just again shows how like not aware she is, because that, for all the times you go out to use an internet cafe, you'd probably be able to afford internet. Fucking idiot.
There was no way of getting it back.
But I feel like there is still a solution. If you don't know how to use the computer, why not ask the librarian?
Well, I knew how to get a Word and like document and stuff, but I didn't know it were on a timer.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
it's
Yeah.
Anybody in your situation would find it depressing. But I also feel like sometimes you just have to drag yourself out.
Okay. How?
Yeah, yeah.
I
How?
don't know how I would be able to do that, really. It's really hard to kind of better myself when I don't have support.
Can I ask what your mental health disabilities are?
Yeah, so from the age of 8, I was severely depressed and I was self-harming, and it kind of got worse from like...
God, like, I mean, I've got my mental health problems now in current life, and from years back. But 8, fucking an 8-year-old shouldn't be depressed. That's awful, and I feel terrible for her. She must have like had it so rough growing up. Fucking 8 and self-harming. Like, I don't want my kids to even know what that is at 8.
like a family breakdown at home, and it turned into bulimia and anorexia, severe depression, which has pretty much taken over my whole life. I ended up in a psychiatric unit at the age of 15. It was just in and out until I was in my early 20s. I went back to my mum's house and she just said that I hadn't got better and that she couldn't cope and that I needed to leave.
I mean, I'm kind of...
Just pull yourself out of it. Fucking hell, that's awful. I mean, shame on a mum, man, for just like abandoning it and saying like it's too much. Well, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
shocked. Like, I can't even imagine.
The thing that is kind of trapping me into poverty is my mental health.
I feel like it literally just all goes back to you and your belief system.
Yeah.
Whether or not you actually believe that you can do it and you believe that you deserve it as well.
Yeah. And when you've been told from a young age that you're crap and you don't deserve anything, and
You might start to believe that.
yeah.
Like, it just seems like a hole that's like nearly impossible to get out of.
See, what I was getting at earlier is, if you gave her on the left, this girl, like, money now, and she was rich, she would appreciate that so much. Like, or if she just all of a sudden earn it. Obviously, you want to earn your money, so bad terminology for me. But if she was to become wealthy now, she would appreciate it so damn much. Whereas this, I'm gonna say girl, like, she's a woman, she's a girl, she is a, she hasn't had that development. She's not worked hard, she's not earned anything. Everything's bought and given to her. She's not got that appreciation of the finer things. So, like, if I go out and buy something nice, say like when I got my car, when I was 20 when I bought my first car, and I worked for that money. I really busted my arse off, and my God, I mean, 5 years down the line, I've still got that car because I've looked after it, because I appreciate it. If she crashes her BMW, Daddy's just gonna buy her another one. So she has no appreciation of anything. This woman with that girl's stuff, yeah, that would give her some definite help in life.
And that's how I'd explain poverty.
There definitely is a negative stigma that comes with being wealthy. There is a lot of jealousy, there is a lot of hate, there is a lot of stepping on necks. It's almost like being in a fish tank with sharks, and as soon as people smell blood, they will go for it. From a young age, there was definitely a lot of pressure on me to succeed. Every day after school, I had a different activity that I had to do. Swimming, gymnastics, horseback riding, piano lessons, and I was never allowed to be average. Let's say I got a C, that was unacceptable. If I do not get an A, then my parents would be very upset with me.
And how did that make you feel?
I was actually really stressed for somebody who was 11 or 12. My dad has told me, you're immature because you are not financially independent. by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, she is immature for that, but that's his fault. If he's just chucking money and going, here's a car, here's all your bills paid, here's everything, he can't then tell her off for not being responsible and mature enough to do it because he's making her unable. I mean, I don't know how old she is, but I'm going to say she's probably about my age. So it's like mid-20s, like maybe 23, 24, 25, somewhere around there. The fact that she never paid for any of that shit is wild. Like, so he can't have a go for that. But I want my kids to do well at school, but you don't like show disappointment. If my kids come back with a C, then that's good. I don't want no D's or E's or anything, but C's and up, absolutely. It's good. It's good. Obviously, I want if they can get B's and whatever, fantastic, whatever it is now. Anyway, but yeah, it sounds like her dad is the issue, putting loads of pressure on her, giving her no responsibility, then having to go at her for having no responsibility.
I've had anxiety and depression as well. I got help straight away through my health insurance, and it did make a big difference. Why should I get it and you shouldn't?
The answer to that mainly is money. Yeah.
What I've learned is that poverty is much more of a trap, and it's not something you can necessarily work your way out of. Trying to get to the root, which is the mental health, is the way to go to help people out of poverty. I would still want to be rich.
I don't need loads and loads of wealth. As long as I've got enough and other people have enough, happy days. Would I be rather rich or poor? I'd rather be neither, and I'd rather be in the middle.
Yeah, just getting by, yeah.
So do you think our paths would ever meet outside of being here today?
It would be very unlikely.
I think so too.
Yeah. That's a shame really, isn't it? Because then you kind of miss out on meeting people and having this kind of dialogue and this kind of understanding as well. Yeah.
Completely agree. I think it was just a shame. Because you don't seem that different to me.
I mean, they could stay in touch, couldn't they? Surely. I don't see that as being an issue. Whatever. Yeah. I don't think that would have solved anything in terms of like, I don't think the rich lass would ever really be able to comprehend what it's like to have nothing, But I completely agree with what she said. Yeah, not rich, not poor, just doing all right, doing good. Bills are paid. You can afford a holiday, shit like that. That's all that matters for me. Like as long as my bills are paid, there's a roof over head and food in cupboards, and we can get away once a year. We don't have to leave the country. Newquay's our spot. So that's all that matters. If I had to choose between rich or poor, I'd go rich because I know what it's like to not have anything. I'd like to be able to be in a position to help other people out, family first, obviously, friends, and then even just charities and things. Be in that position to just do some difference. And I think that'd feel pretty damn good as well. But yeah, thank you so much for joining in on another episode of Would You Rather Be. And obviously today, I don't know, it was rich or poor. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Drop me a comment. Let me know if you think there's anything I should react to. And obviously if you're not already, subscribe.